Morning, everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups Daytona Beach. It's Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock. We're going to get started today. So let's see. I'm Tom Jordan, one of the organizers here for 1 Million Cups. We have Carlos in the house. We have Charlie in the house. We have Val in the house. Some other folks will be here in a little bit, so I'm going to do the introductions here today. Just a reminder. So we're going to do a presentation this morning. Excuse me. Then we're going to do a Q&A afterwards. If you want to add any comments, any questions, any ideas that you want to throw to our presenter today. Just a reminder, we are live streaming on YouTube now. So if you're going over to Facebook, don't do that anymore. We're on YouTube. And tomorrow night, just a reminder, we have our after hours, which is going to be at 5:30 at Hooligans, but it is moved over to the location on ISB. Everybody know where that's at? Got it? Don't go to destination, right? So 1MC after hours, 5:30 tomorrow at Hooligans on International Speedway Boulevard. Today we are sponsored, of course, by Volusia County Economic Development. We want to thank them for helping us get this location, helping us pay for it. This is a fabulous location here at Cinematique, and we want to thank them for providing the coffee and the venue. It's a great location. We really appreciate it. Anything I'm missing here?
We're good.
We're good. Cool. So, without further ado, we're going to have our presenter today. She's going to do a presentation for us, tell us what she's doing, what her business is, and then we'll have some Q&A afterwards. So, sit back and enjoy, and let me introduce Rekia, right? Rekia Beverly.
Good morning. Thank you all for having me today. Thank you, Val, for reaching out. I finally made it to the stage. I'm excited to be here. I am Rekia Beverly, and I need your help for this next part, okay? We're starting off with a bang here. So I'm going to ask you a question in a few seconds, and then I need you to say, Mrs. Ashbury, Mrs. Ashbury. Okay, can you do that for me on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3.
Mrs. Ashbury, Mrs. Ashbury.
Good. Who's the teacher with all the love?
Mrs. Ashbury, Mrs. Ashbury.
Who's the teacher sharing the love?
Mrs. Ashbury, Mrs. Ashbury.
Who's the teacher with all the love?
Mrs. Ashbury, Mrs. Ashbury.
Who's the teacher sharing the love?
Mrs. Ashbury, Mrs. Ashbury.
Very good. Great audience. All right. So here's a little background about who I am. I'm a graduate of Florida A&M University. My background is elementary education. I received my graduate degree in curriculum and instruction from Nova Southeastern. And I am born and raised right here in Florida. I have 15 years of experience in teaching. And now I service the gifted and talented population here in Volusia County Schools as a gifted resource teacher K-5. So what do I do on top of all those other things? Well, I am the founder of Mrs. Ashbury's World, everyone's favorite teacher. This is my luxurious book collection here. I'm not only the founder, but I am the book character too. And that's thanks to my illustrator who showed me my proofs one day, and I was like, this looks like me. And sure enough, he's like, it is you. I was like, all right, cool, I'll take it. Here's my why. In first grade, so my background is kindergarten and first grade. I taught kindergarten and first grade separately, and then kindergarten and first grade combined, then kindergarten and first grade gifted. And when I was in my first grade classroom, I was reading back to school books. So you have like Franklin's Back to the First Day of School. You have like Thomas the Train's First Day of School. And then I said, wait a second, teachers have a first day of school too. So that's where my inspiration started while reading to my first grade kiddos. And I wanted to write from the teacher's perspective. I thought, hey, the world needs to see that teachers have feelings too, just like our students, and not only for adults, but for our kiddos to be able to make that connection with us. So, book number 1 happened. During that process, it was not fun. I reached out to a college friend of mine, and he was an illustrator by design, and I said, hey, I have this bright idea, I want to write a children's book. And he said, okay, I can help you. Well, he's just an illustrator. He doesn't know anything about the design and piece and all that. And when I went to upload the book to be published, red error messages were everywhere. And I'm like, why is this happening? What is going on? Well, I couldn't give up because my parents had told all their bowling friends, Rekia's publishing a book. And I'm like, this was supposed to be a secret. No one was supposed to know about it. So I really had to get the job done then. Well, again, error messages were everywhere. There was at least 2 months where I just shut the computer down, crying, everything. I'm like, I'm never going to accomplish this dream. Well, we reached out to another friend, and they were able to help with the publishing and the formatting and all those things. So there was great success. Well, I presented this book to my classroom, and all the kids kept asking, Miss Beverly, when's your next book? And I'm like, I'm not writing again. The first time was horrible. So I ended up having to fire the first illustrator. He had so many other projects going on, and kids were asking, the community, they were asking, they're like, when's your next book? And I was like, guys, I really didn't plan on it, but they pushed me to go further. So I ended up cutting ties with my first illustrator. Got on Facebook, joined some groups, and found an illustration and publishing company all the way in Arizona. I've never met these people yet. Hopefully one day I will. They inspired Mrs. Ashbury's 2.0. So if you notice from the first book, the whole design changes, and I'm thinking, oh, that's another ordeal to deal with. How will I explain this to people? Well, I always talk to my kids about failing and how to overcome those things. And I was like, well, why not use the book to tell a story and tell my journey of overcoming? So that's another teaching point that I use for kids too. Then that illustrator, they were able to help me with all these other books. And each book includes family members or my students. One of my favorites is Mrs. Ashbury's Hero. Nathan was diagnosed with childhood cancer, 5 years old, in my classroom, and he shares his story of his support, and he brings it to school. In my classroom, kindergarten at the time, I started crying. In the book, I do showcase that just to show that, teachers have feelings. Nathan is now cancer-free, running track. Is he in 8th grade? I think he's going to high school now. Oh, I got to check with his mom. But his mom is included in the book too, and his family, just as just to let him know that you inspire me daily. And he was in charge of the design. He did a runway for Hope over in Orlando, and he had a bow tie. And so we made sure that he was able to do all that. Miss Ashbury to the rescue. That includes my last group of kindergarten and first grade students. This was my COVID group, what I call them. And they're all in that book too. So that's always fun. They love me listening to that book. So I was able to pick up the secret sauce. So not only did I have like my illustrators do all that other stuff, I figured out the process myself, and I created some other resource books, and then some more, a learning series. All right, then something magical happened, right? And I was like, ooh, what could be next? People started dressing up as Mrs. Ashbury for storybook character parades. And Nathan. So I thought this was really cool. Like, this was like my moment to shine. I'm like, people are dressing up as me. People do the pumpkin. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but storybook pumpkin. It's just an amazing experience. So done some school visits, a backpack, more school visits. And then people dress up with my dress too, so like merchandise. I was like, oh my gosh, this is And then the book vending machine. So there are book vending machines all over the district here, and some of my books are in some of the vending machines. I was like, one day it'll be cool to have like a whole Mrs. Ashbury vending machine. I don't know, possibilities are endless. So all this is exciting, right? And then I'm like, but is it? So this is where I've hit a roadblock, right? So all these exciting things are happening, and then it's like, okay, what next? So my growth, right? Volusia County, I feel like the kids know me here. I feel as though I'm okay with social media. Right now, I just have scheduled posts going on. I am a full-time teacher too. This is my fun zone, right? So reaching the masses, right? It's Mrs. Ashbury's world. So I really want to reach out and go beyond Volusia County, go beyond Florida. And there's some times where I can see like analytics, like with my website, and there's some different hits around the world, but I'm like, no one's really buying. And then the other thing is like fundraising. So I've done multiple things to fundraise for the business. Again, I am a full-time teacher, donations and things like that. Most recently, about, was it two to 3 weeks, I've been pushing off my nonprofit. And I was like, I really want to get this done, I reached out to a friend over in DeLand or Orange City area, and she was able to help me. So recently I have my nonprofit, and it's called Mrs. Ashbury's Heart. So I'm really excited about that. I had a little background about that. I had a friend reach out last year during the summer, and she said, Rekia, I know you're pretty popular within the community. We need help. I have my kids here. They're able to get free food at the school every now and again, like Monday through Thursday, because during the summertime, on Fridays, the schools are closed. Well, there's a free program where you can grab food and things like that and lunch for your kids, but there's nothing over the weekends. So I tried to reach out to local churches and things like that, and no one was really responding to me. So I think that's what I want my first project to be for my nonprofit, just to provide like some type of food package to cover families over the weekend. I haven't talked to my board people yet. I don't know. I said, Rekia, you're doing a lot to start off with, but we'll see what happens. So that's just a little idea for that. And, well, I can back up. I'm not sure if I'm going too fast with my time is. I can't really see out there. Okay, good. So this is where I need the help, and I am willing to take any suggestions to throw them at me, because I am a risk taker. I will try pretty much anything.
How's that? Good, we are. Great job. Thank you very much. That was a good presentation, everybody. So let me clarify. So where are you at? You're looking for ideas on growing your business of book sales?
Book sales, getting the word out there. I do community events. I go out to churches, everything. You can find me in my car, just scoot along.
Hi.
Hi.
Lori McMullen with your Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce. Great presentation. Have you reached out to Food Brings Hope? Because the weekend types of food needs that you're talking about, they address that.
Okay. Are they just geared for Daytona? Or
I think they cover the whole
Volusia
county.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know.
And my friend Faye Theos works there. She's more in the grant writing area, but she'll point you in the right direction. Ask for Faye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Heath Jones, Fractional Unit. Great presentation, and you've got a wonderful brand, and you've got a good body of work. So I have a suggestion. I'll connect with you afterwards. One of the things that I would suggest that you consider is that you've got such good illustrations and a good brand. You could probably take your illustrations, and if you can take something from the analog world and digitize it, then you can create a much larger funnel. So I would suggest taking a look at your books. I'll connect with you afterwards. Take your illustrations and turn them into an animated experience, which you can then put on. You can put on either YouTube or some other platform and act as a funnel to actually sell your books, and you'll reach a much wider audience. And then we just take them into a studio and we record the actual. We record an audio track for your books, and you release it as an animated series, and you'll reach as many people as you need to.
So a little background about that. During COVID, when we shut down and there's nothing, I was thinking how could I branch into the homes of families? I didn't want the learning to stop, right? With you saying that, that's just confirmation, so thank you.
Well, you've only got the cost of creating the initial, and then the cost of marketing it. You know, when you've got an analog product like books, you have a cost to keep reproducing the content. Once you digitize it, you don't have those costs.
Yes, you were right.
Wonderful presentation. You're my hero. Okay, your resilience, getting through, especially the COVID and all that. You're really showing and leading by example with not only your kids in your classroom, but here. This is awesome. Now you brought up a couple of things that in monetizing and scaling up and that kind of thing. In social media, you're kind of a little bit. You first of all, as an entrepreneur, identify 3 things right away. What you're good at, you're great at. Keep doing it. You're only going to get better. Number 2, what you're okay at, you get a little advice. And almost most importantly, what you stink at. Because nobody is good at everything. Outsource it. Find your people. And this would be a nice room for you to connect with some people that are into social media that can do things like that. I'm happy to point them out. We're here to help you. We got you for that. So identifying those things and writing down, hey, Alyssa, what I love to do, what I'm okay at, what I don't really, not my area of expertise, figure that out, and that's going to help you. You talked about your board. Yeah, you bring people on your board that are stronger in other areas than you are. Treat your business like that as well. I mean, it's wonderful. Congratulations on doing the nonprofit as well.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Rekia Valerie here. First of all, congratulations. This is a full-time job. And you're a teacher, and I recently saw your books at Barnes & Noble. Congratulations. I know that you've done book signing there too, you told me. So, and I realized that was the first iteration of your books, because the second books are, so yes. Piggybacking on what Carlos had said, find your people, and they're all in this room, so we'll connect later.
Good morning. Mark Goetz, Norman Beach Chamber of Commerce, great presentation. I would direct you perhaps to the Early Learning Coalition of Flagler and Volusia County. They're a good resource to the extent that they run the Valley Park Imagination Library for a variety of cities. That's an early learning childhood development program where they give books to all children, regardless of socioeconomic background, that register from the ages of birth to 5. So all these children through the Valley Park Imagination Library receive a free book. And the whole notion being that, you being in elementary education, of course, the trajectory of success for people years down the road is far higher for those that are exposed to early learning. So with that said, the Valley Park Imagination Library purchases probably millions of books that are distributed throughout the U.S. With that particular point, perhaps you've got some angle through the Early Learning Coalition to get some consideration via or with the Valley Park Imagination Library. I think you might be able to move a large set of books by way of them. You also may tie that into your nonprofit. So if you give back in some way, that could help.
TJ Pillay, Daytona City Lifestyle. How many businesses do you have? Because as I'm looking at this, I kind of got the feeling that everything's under one umbrella, and I think what you might need to do is split them out into separate businesses. Your training is one business, your books are another business, possibly digital's another business. So right now, how many businesses do you have?
Just the one.
I would definitely split it up. And the reason is that each of them are going to have different types of marketing that you need to do to make them successful. So if we're talking about your teaching business, then I would start coming back to you and I'd say, all right, are you set up so that you can accept scholarship? And how are you marketing, getting people to put their kids in your classroom? That's very different than how you're going to be marketing the books. And then if you set up a website where there's some type of service where people can stream your content and generate that as a separate revenue stream, that's separate as well. So look at your business and combine all of the things that are naturally affinity to one another into one business, and then take what's left over and do that again, so that you can then target your funds and your marketing efforts properly for each of the different businesses.
Thank you. I have work to do.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Terry Kane Tyler with TCT Advantage. As a participant in the Chamber's Leadership Daytona program, our challenge was to raise the 5th grade reading level by 2035. As part of the background for that, we found there were so many different reading programs around that were overlapping. So you could probably piggyback, like she was saying, onto these other programs. Because we partnered with the Early Learning Coalition, but then we found a NASCAR driver who has a reading program and all these different things. And you can go ahead and just kind of make a coalition or something. I don't know the proper term.
Right.
But just look at all the programs out there and see how you can use their expertise to move you forward.
I have a question, maybe I missed it. Where did you get the name?
So, there's a story behind a story. My very first clinic pass as a teacher, I was a first year teacher. I told this student, I said, hey, we're out on the playground. I said, hey, you're being too rough on those monkey bars. You're being too rough on those monkey bars. She fell, broke her collarbone, rushed to the hospital. I thought I was going to get fired. It was my first, I'm a new first time teacher. Her last name was Ashbury, so that's just in honor of her and my first clinic pass.
Who else?
Okay.
We're all good? All right. Well, thank you very much. Great job this morning. Super. What's that?
Is this yours now?
No, it's
No.
not.
Okay.
Don't forget, tomorrow night, 5:30, Hooligans at ISB. You got our after hours. Come out and you can come anytime. You don't have to stay home for the whole time. You just in and out, whatever you got on your schedule. We hope to see you tomorrow night. And of course, we'll be back here next Wednesday, 9 o'clock, here at Cinema T. Thanks a lot, everybody. Oh, that's right. I have to,